What's going on, guys? I'm David, and I'm into that. Today, we're going to be talking about my 2017 Toyota RAV4 all-wheel drive. So why did I get a RAV4? I've had pickup trucks, Isuzu Trooper, off-road van, Honda Civic. It's simple, really. I wanted reliability, gas mileage, and a little off-road fun. That left me with three main options: Toyota, Honda, or Subaru. When looking at Toyota, I looked at the 4Runner and the RAV4. When looking at Honda, I was leaning towards either the CR-V or the Ridgeline. Out of all these options, I landed on the RAV4 for a number of reasons. The 4Runner prices were too high, the Subarus had too many issues, the CR-V was kind of cool, but I didn't really like the way it looked, and the Ridgeline was just a little bit out of my price range. So some of you are asking why I didn't get a 4Runner. There's a couple reasons: price, miles per gallon, and I really don't need all the off-road capability that the 4Runner provides. I do go to the mountains, but it's mostly Forest Service roads, and the all-wheel drive with the center lock diff, which we'll get to in a minute, does great on the RAV4. So the big thing with the all-wheel drive system on the RAV versus some of the others, like the Ridgeline or the CR-V, this has a center lock diff, which means you can actually go under 25 miles an hour. You can push the center lock diff, and it will actually distribute power 50-50, so you get 50% front, 50% rear, so it's almost a true all-wheel drive, and it will go off on its own. So you get past 25 miles an hour, it'll just automatically go off, so you don't have to worry about turning it off or it messing something up. It just turns off. So I decided to go with the all-wheel drive RAV4. This one's a couple years old. It's a 2017. It's a certified pre-owned, and I was looking to spend around $20. Out the door, I was about $19,600 on this, which is a really good deal, especially because it only has 26,000 miles. And another cool thing with the RAV4, because it's Toyota's best-selling vehicle, there's a lot of support for it in the aftermarket. Let's talk mods. First thing I want to do was wheels and tires and some lights for the front, because I thought they'd give me the most bang for my buck. Let's talk wheels and tires. When choosing tires, having a good quality tire, especially on a smaller vehicle like this, is very important. I did a lot of research and I went with a 245/65 in the Toyo AT3. It's the lightest of all the good all-terrain options, and also fits with no lift and just minimal rubbing when in reverse. The Open Country AT3 is Toyo's new all-terrain tire, replacing the previous AT2. It has a lot more aggressive sidewall and it has a 65,000 mile warranty, which is great. When we're talking about wheels, I wanted to keep as much tire as I could, so I went with the factory 17 size, but I went with a 17x8 with a plus 35 offset to push the wheel out just a little bit. The wheel itself is a black Rhino Rumble in gloss gold, which I went with because I wanted to differentiate from all the other RAV4s on the road. The wheels and tires were professionally installed by the guys over at Butler Tire in Austell, Georgia. So being that this is the first vehicle I've ever owned that wasn't built in the 90s, I wanted to put nice stuff on it. So no cheap LED lights for me. So I went with the Baja Designs Squadron Sport LED cubes in the amber color. I decided to go amber because they match my wheels, let's be real. The lights are mounted to the LP Adventure hood mount brackets made specifically for the Gen 4 RAV4. So future plans for the RAV, we're going to do an exhaust pipe mod, which lifts up the exhaust pipe, a skid plate, a roof rack, and probably not even do a lift because I like the way it sits and I don't want to mess with the handling at all. I'm David, this is my RAV4, and I'm into it. The big thing about this car is I like that it's good in the mountains and it's also good on the road, so driving to and from the mountains is really cool as opposed to just having fun when you're getting there like you would in another vehicle. It's pretty peppy, it's not fast, but the 2.2 or the 4-cylinder does okay. It gets out of its own way, does 90 pretty easily, no problem. Keeps up with traffic, and it's pretty good road trip car. A lot of space in here. You can be 6'5" football player and sit in the back seat. We've tested this. So, and it also is really good on U-turns because it's such a small car, and it's also a short wheelbase, so you can just get U-turn all the way back into the first lane, which is fun. And it's fairly quiet in here. The tires make a little more noise. It's still kind of a loud car because it's a cheaper car, so there's not a lot of sound deadening, stuff like that. But it doesn't feel cheap like a Nissan would, with all the plasticky interior. It at least feels a little more upgraded than some of the others, like the Chevys and stuff like that. The infotainment center is pretty basic in the 2017. Starting in 2016, you had to have the mandatory backup camera and the lane assist and all that. I actually turned all of that off. I don't use the lane assist and all those things. I like the backup camera, but I don't use all the safety features because too many beeps for me. It gets really annoying. But the CD, or it's actually got a CD player, but the radio and the Bluetooth, and it actually has a USB, which is nice. All works pretty well. It's more than I need, and so it works really well. It doesn't have a lot. It actually has knobs and buttons, which is nice, instead of just a screen. This thing right here rattles a lot, in the mountains especially. But it works pretty well. It's a spacious interior. Yeah, it's an all-around good vehicle. Of course, it has your airbags and all that fancy jazz. It's got power locks, power windows, power mirrors. No sunroof. The reason I went with the LE versus the XLE, for instance, you really don't get that much more in Toyota's lineup until you get into the Limited. The XLE, I think, added dual climate control, the option for nav, a few other things that I didn't really care about. And you can't get Apple CarPlay until the new body style, which is 2019. They make aftermarket Android CD players from like Wish.com, which I'm not interested in for so many reasons. One being Android, two being Wish.com. So they do make upgrades. So I'm hoping in the future they do make some more upgrades for this platform for the radio. Because I would like to use Apple CarPlay at some point, but it's not that big of a deal. I'd like to just, I'd like to use Apple CarPlay, but until then it works fine. But it definitely has enough technology for me and not too much technology. You want to race, bro? Yeah, we'll race. So another benefit with the all-wheel drive model is you get all-weather floor mats, not only in the front but in the cargo area, and crossbars for the roof rack, which you would have to buy separately. We also bought, when we bought this one, another 2017 in the front-wheel drive model, and it didn't come with, it just came with regular carpet floor mats and regular just roof rails, no crossbars. So that's nice. That's something I don't have to buy when I buy my roof basket later. So if you've been subscribed to the channel for a while, you may be wondering why we changed the name of the channel. Really it boils down to we're into more stuff than just Overland. We're into EDC gear, guns, boats, knives, cars, working out, a whole bunch of stuff. So we wanted to expand the channel to show more stuff that you're interested in, just like we're interested in. So we're still going to do some of the Overland stuff. We're going to go off-road, we're going to do that stuff, but we're also expanding into a whole bunch of other stuff. So I hope you stay on with us and stay subscribed, and we'll have some really cool stuff. And I'm David, and I'm into that. So some of you are saying, why not a RAV4? 4Runner. So some of you are saying, why not a... Ready?
Yeah.
Ooh, that stinks.
Ooh.
Damn. I bought this car about 3 months ago from a Toyota dealership here in